The room was dark. Only a few blue lights glowed along the ceiling. 12 figures sat in a circle, their faces hidden under long metal hoods. This was the High Council of the Galactic Core, the oldest, most powerful leaders in the galaxy. They were silent. A message had just played in front of them. It was only one sentence. "We are coming home." No name, no planet. Just the signal and the voice. A voice no one had heard in almost a million years. Elder Charn of the Volari broke. The silence, his voice trembled. "Is it?" Them, another alien, taller and covered in glass skin, stood slowly. "We don't say the name, but it matches," Charna whispered. Same signal pattern, same tone. The same code burned into the stars. Silence again. Every being in that room had heard stories when they were young about the race that once ruled the galaxy, then vanished. They were strong, fast, and clever. They created weapons the galaxy had never seen. Ships that could bend time, technology that made planets. That race was humanity. And now, after 870,000 years, it returned far away from the Council, on the edge of the Milky Way. A group of explorers were investigating a strange ship. It had appeared out of nowhere near the dead zone area, with no life, no light, and no planets. A place long feared. The ship was huge, bigger than any known vessel. Its surface was black, like it ate light. No windows. No engines. Just smooth, dark metal. As the explorer ship approached, the crew began to feel something. Pressure, like 1,000 eyes watching them. Captain Rello, one of the crew, called. "We're picking up a signal from inside the ship. It's ancient, maybe over 800,000 years old." Rello frowned. A voice came through the speakers. Calm, cold, human. "If you hear this, we are awake, and we remember." Suddenly, the explorer ship's systems began to shut. Downlights, engines, weapons. Then the message repeated. "We are awake, and we remember." The crew stared at one another. No one moved. Then, one by one, the crew began to scream. The ship vanished from scanners. No wreckage was found. Back at the galactic core, panic was spreading. News of the dark ship and the missing crew reached the council. Some leaders said it was fake. Others said it was only a trick. But the council knew the truth. A myth had returned. Centuries ago, old records told of a final war. 10 powerful empires had once joined to stop a single species, humans. The records were sealed. No one knew why. All they knew was this. After that war, humans disappeared. No one saw them again. No body. No planet, nothing. The only thing left was fear and stories. If humans come back, the old stories said, run. In a small learning dome on the planet Therion, a young alien child asked his teacher, who were the humans? The teacher paused. They were not monsters, she said. They were us. But more curious, more wild, more angry. They created beauty. And they created death. Where did they go? The child asked. No one knows, the teacher said. It's some say they destroyed each other. Others say they left to grow stronger. The next day, a second human ship appeared. It hovered above an abandoned moon. On its surface, one message was carved into the rock with burning heat. Humanity returns. All across the galaxy, fear spread like fire. Planets turned off long range. Scanners, borders were closed, armies were built. The Galactic Council declared a galaxy-wide alert. No one knew what the humans wanted: peace, revenge, power. No one dared to speak their name out loud. But every race in the galaxy now asked the same question. What happens when the myth becomes real? The stars were quiet, but something was moving between them, silent, fast, and cold. A ship, small and silver, sped toward the dark moon where the second human message had appeared. Inside the ship were 6 alien scouts from the planet Velor. Their mission: enter the human ship and learn the truth. Captain Sylve, the leader of the scout team, checked her scanners. We are close. Energy readings are strange, not like anything. In our databases, the others stayed quiet. Fear hung in the air. No one had seen a human in almost 1,000,000 years. Most thought they were dead. Now even saying the word human felt dangerous. The human ship floated above the moon. Black metal. No windows. No signs of life. But it was not empty. As the scout team approached, a hatch slowly opened. No one had touched it. No code was. Entered, it opened like it was waiting. Captain Sylve took a deep breath and stepped inside. The hallway was dark. The walls were smooth and cold. No wires, no lights, no sound. Just silence and something else. Something they all felt. Do. Feel that? One of the scouts whispered. It's like we're being watched. They reached the center of the ship. Small silver capsule sat on a metal stand. A blinking light glowed on its surface. Captain Sylve touched it. The room filled with light. A 3D hologram appeared above the capsule. It was a human, male, pale skin, black eyes, no hair. His voice was calm, but cold like ice. This is Commander Aaron speaking for the human race. We left this galaxy 870,000 years ago. You destroyed our home. You erased our name. You thought we would die. But we lived. New stars. We broke time. We became more than you feared. And now we have returned. Not to destroy. Not yet. We came to ask one question. Do you remember what you did? The message ended. The light vanished. Then the capsule opened. Inside was a small cube shining with blue energy. The team scanned it. It's a memory core, said one of the scouts. Human technology. Old, but more advanced than anything we've ever seen. Captain Sylve nodded. Take it. We're going back. Hours later. The scout ship returned to their homeworld. Only it wasn't home anymore. They found it in flames. The sky was black. Cities burned. The capital tower was gone. The ship hovered in silence. No signals. No survivors. Then the scanners picked up something. A single symbol. Burned into the surface of the planet. We remember everything. News spread fast. 5 more human ships appeared in deep space. Each left a similar message and vanished before anyone could respond. Panic took over the Galactic Council. Meetings were held. Old records were opened. For the first time in 870,000 years, the truth was revealed. Humanity didn't disappear. They left because of a great war, a war that all the galaxy had agreed to hide. Back then, humans were growing to fast, smarter, stronger, unpredictable. The council of that age decided to end them before they became a threat. They sent fleets. They bombed Earth. They erased the name human from every system. Only. They failed. Some humans escaped. No one knows how. No one knows where, until now. On a small desert planet, a young alien named Dren watched the human message again. He was not a soldier, not a leader, just a historian. But something in the message touched him. It's not fear but pain, sadness, memory. He went to the old archives, deep underground. There, he found a forgotten book. It was written in ancient Earth language. He used a translator. And read the first page. To those who find this, we did not leave to conquer. We left because we were betrayed, but we never forgot you. And we never stopped watching. Dren looked up at the stars. They're not back to kill us, he whispered. They want answers. But somewhere far away, other powers were preparing for war. Armies gathered. Fleets moved. They didn't care about the message. They only cared about stopping the humans again. The Galactic Council was desperate. Humans had returned, but no one knew what they wanted. They left strange messages, old technology, and terrifying warnings. Worlds burned, but no war was declared. There were no demands. No voice. Just silence. And fear. So the council made a decision. Send a peace team. The Laraxi were chosen. Peaceful alien race known for calm minds and open hearts. Their leader, Ambassador Velen, had helped stop 3 past wars. If anyone could talk to the humans, it was him. We do not fight, Velen told the council. Speak. And so, the Laraxi Peace Fleet left their homeworld 5 clean silver ships, each carrying gifts, translators, and messages of peace. They followed the human signal too. The dead zone cold space with no stars. There, floating in the darkness, was the same black ship. Velen stood tall on his command deck. Open all channels. A message was sent in 7,000 languages. We welcome you. We come in peace. Please speak with us. Nothing, no sound, no signal, just the silent ship then. The human vessel opened a docking bay. Velen smiled. They want to talk. He stepped inside with 4 others. The human ship was colder than ice. The lights were dim. No life signs. Velen walked slowly through the long halls. They saw no one. Then a door slid open. Inside was a single chair, a small table, something placed on it a strange silver mask. Velen touched it. The moment he did, the door shut behind them, and a voice filled the room. Not loud, not angry, just calm. You do not know your history, but your history knows you. You call yourselves peaceful, but you stood silent when Earth burned. You send gifts now, but gave us death before, we remember. The mask shattered, floor shook, red lights flashed. Velen turned to run, but the door never opened again. Back at the council, only one ship from the Peace Fleet returned. It floated into orbit above the council homeworld, but it was empty. No crew, no signal, only a message carved into the control panel. First contact was never peaceful. Panic spread. The council declared level Omega threat a signal used only for total war across the galaxy. Fleets began to move. Defenses were built. Ancient weapons were powered up. But it was already too late. In a quiet lab far from the core, Dren, the historian, watched the news. He had seen the Laraxi leave, though he saw them return without their leader. He remembered the words from the old human book. We never start wars, but we always end them. Dren shook his head. They didn't attack. They warned us. He looked at the ancient human cube he had stolen from the ruins. He touched it again. A new message played. Hey, this galaxy buried the truth. You buried us, but we buried something too. And now, it's waking up. Dren's eyes widened. What does that mean? Suddenly, his screen flickered. All systems went black. A human symbol appeared on his monitor. Access denied. You are not ready. On the other side of the galaxy, in a secret military base, the Council's generals were planning a first strike. One admiral stood before a massive hologram of the black human ship. We hit them now, he said. Before they hit us. But what if they came in peace? Someone asked. The admiral laughed. Then they should not have returned with ghosts. He raised his hand. Prepare. The dark weapon. Alarms rang. Engines powered up. The galaxy had made a choice. War was coming. Meanwhile, deep in unknown space, the black human ship stood still. Inside, a figure watched from a glowing screen. Its face was human, but not fully. Cold metal around the skull. Eyes like stars. Skin pale and silver. He turned to a dark room filled with other figures. They failed the test. They still fear us more than they fear their own mistakes. Began phase 2, and the stars began to shift. The stars were shaking at first. No one noticed. A few strange readings, a few reports, but then it spread planets across the galaxy saw the same thing. Lights blinking in deep space. Strange gravity shifts. Unknown energy rising from nowhere. Something old was waking up. And only one word kept. Showing up in ancient sensors, Earth, inside a hidden research station. Dren, the historian, stared at the human memory cube. It had activated again by itself. The voice of Commander Aaron spoke clearly. You erased our past. But our past remembers you. If you want answers, go to the place where it began. But be warned. Not all ghosts sleep quietly. A set of coordinates flashed. They pointed to a system long erased from star maps. A dead system. no sun. Planets, or so everyone thought. Dren whispered Earth. He stole a scout ship, small, fast, quiet, no weapons. He didn't tell the council. They would never allow it. As he jumped into hyperspace, he kept thinking, what did they bury? What was forgotten? When he arrived, there was nothing, just black space, no planets, no light. Then his sensors lit up, a shadow moved, and there it was, a planet broken, scarred but real. He had found Earth. The surface was destroyed, huge craters, burned forests, collapsed. Cities buried under ice, but underneath, something was still alive. Dren landed his ship and walked through ash and snow. He followed the signal coming from the cube. It led him to a huge metal door hidden in a mountain. The door opened by itself. No code, no locks, just silence. He stepped inside. Below the surface, he found a massive underground city. Empty lights flickered as he passed. Statues of human heroes stood tall. Books floated in holograms. Screens showed images of stars, wars, and children laughing on blue fields. He saw videos of old Earth before the war, before the council betrayed them. He saw Earth burn, and he saw humans leave, in great ships. In silence, they didn't die. They escaped, back in the galactic core. The council saw the signal from Earth light up again. They couldn't believe it. Earth was destroyed, a general said. We bombed it ourselves. Another replied, and someone's activated it, the council argued. Some wanted to send ships. Others wanted to destroy it again. But deep down, they all felt the same thing. Fear. On Earth. Dren reached the deepest room. There he found a stasis pod. A body inside. Human, still alive. A message appeared on the wall behind him. This is General Rhea of Earth's last defense. If you are reading this, humanity has returned. But not for war. Not unless you make the same mistake twice. Suddenly the pod opened. Steam hissed out. The woman inside opened her eyes. Silver. Bright, cold. She looked at Dren. You're not one of us, she said calmly. Dren fell to his knees. Please, I just want the truth. She stepped out, breathing slowly. You will have it. But the truth is not safe. Meanwhile, in deep space, the human fleet began to move. Not just one ship, not 5, thousands, each one silent, each one shaped. Like a blade, they didn't attack. They only appeared above every council world. One by one, no. Weapons fired, no words spoken, just a signal sent to every screen. Earth remembers, do you? The council was ready to strike, but something strange happened. People on every world, young and old, began to ask questions. What happened to the humans? Why did the council erase Earth? Why were the old records locked? Some began to speak out. Some began to help the humans. On Earth, General Rhea looked at Dren. We didn't return to rule, she said. We returned to give them a chance. One last chance, Dren asked. To do what? She looked up at the stars. To choose what kind of galaxy they want to be. Then her voice grew cold. But if they choose fear again, she turned, they won't get another chance. The stars were full of warships. Human vessels stood like statues above. Every major alien world, silent, watching, not attacking, and that silence was louder than any weapon. Inside the council war room, the air was thick with panic. Maps blinked. With red alarms echoed across systems. One general slammed the table. They haven't fired. That means they're bluffing, another whispered. No, they're waiting. On the planet Kale, a secret lab had captured something impossible. Human, not a recording, a living one. They found her on a lifeless moon, alone, waiting. She did not resist. She came with them, spoke no lies, asked no questions. Now she sat in a white room, calm, hands on the table. They asked her name. She said you wouldn't understand it now. They asked, are you human? She smiled gently. We were human. Once. But we are not the same anymore. They scanned her body. She was not metal, not fully flesh. Her blood carried light, her skin healed by itself. Her bones were stronger than steel. They could not find her heart. One scientist whispered, "She's a machine." Another replied, "No, she's something in between." She looked at them. "We changed," she said, "because we had to." Back on Earth, Dren followed General Rhea through the underground ruins. She showed him the old cities, the history the galaxy tried to erase. "We watched you grow," she said. "We saw your mistakes. We waited." "Why wait so long?" Dren asked. Rhea paused. "Because we were afraid to. Of us." She turned to him. "No. Of what we might become." At the same time, in the deep, dark corners of space, an empire was moving the Karnak's dominion. They were once part of the Council. Long ago, they helped destroy Earth. Now they feared its return, so they prepared something ancient. The Sunblade Project, a weapon designed long ago, built in secret, powered by stars. With it, they believed they could destroy the human fleet in one strike. They didn't tell the Council. They acted alone, inside the captured lab. The human woman spoke again. "We never came to attack," she said. "We came to remind you of what?" the alien guards asked. She stared at them. "Of what you did, of what you were still doing." "You think you're better than us?" a guard said. She stood. "No, I think you are exactly what we were." She stepped forward slowly. "But we burned. We broke. We rebuilt. You're afraid of what we became. But we are afraid of what you refused to become." And she touched the wall. The entire lab shut down. Darkness back on Earth. Dren received a signal. It was a warning. The Karnaks had fired the Sunblade, a beam of pure energy, strong enough to erase planets, was heading for Earth. "Can you stop it?" Dren asked. General Rhea shook her head. "We don't need to." She raised her hand in space, just before the beam reached Earth. It vanished. The energy didn't explode, it didn't hit. It just disappeared. Gone. The stars returned to silence. On a screen, the Karnak's admiral stared in horror. How did they do that?" No one answered, because no one knew. The Council held an emergency meeting. Everything was falling apart. The humans didn't fight back. They didn't threaten. They didn't speak, but they were winning by doing nothing. Worlds were questioning the Council. Old allies were turning, and one message kept playing on every system. "We are not here to conquer. We are here to show you what you could have been." On Earth, Rhea and Dren stood under the broken sky. She looked up. "You asked why we changed?" Dren nodded. She answered, "We saw what fear did to us, what war made us, so we stopped being what we were." He looked at her glowing hands. "Are you still human?" he asked. Rhea smiled, "Only the part that forgives." Then her smile faded. But not all of us came back to forgive. The galaxy was holding its breath. Human ships still hung above Council worlds like silent shadows. They didn't fire. They didn't move. But their message was clear. We remember. Everything. Some planets began to surrender. Others begged for peace. But not everyone wanted peace. In the farthest sector of space, hidden behind gas clouds and old minefields, a secret meeting took place. 5 warlords stood in a dark room. They came from different species, different worlds. But they shared one goal: to destroy humanity. One spoke first. They humiliated the Karnaks. Their weapons vanished our beam. Others said, "We cannot live under their shadow." The oldest among them whispered, "Then we must finish what our ancestors started." They pulled out a forbidden relic. An old human war file from the last war, 870,000 years ago. Inside was a forgotten truth. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dren was learning more each day. General Rhea had taken him into the Vault of Memoria, place only awakened since humanity's return. Inside were thousands of floating orbs, each one a piece of the old war. Dren reached out and touched one. His mind was pulled into the past. He saw fire. He saw Council ships above Earth, bombing cities, killing billions. He saw humans fighting back alone against 10 empires. He saw Earth lose. But he also saw the last order of the human leaders. Let them believe we are dead. Let them believe they won. We will leave, and we will prepare. And so humanity vanished, not in death, but in silence. Dren fell to his knees. They lied to the galaxy, he whispered. Rhea nodded. They feared us, so they erased us. Dren asked, why not fight back now? She stared at him because the war never ended. We just gave it time to cool. Back in Council space, the warlords activated the relic they found. It was a weapon created during the last human war. Virus, made by humans themselves. It was designed to shut down all their ships back when they feared losing control of their own creations. The warlords smiled. Let's use their own weapon against them. They spread the virus across the stars, but something went wrong. In space, the human ships began to flicker. Lights dimmed. Energy fields dropped. Alien spies watched in joy. They're weak. It's working, one warlord shouted. Strike now! We end them today! But then, the human ships turned back on. All of them, at once. On Earth, Rhea stood in silence. Dren looked at her. What happened? She answered softly. We let them use the virus. You let them? We wanted to see what they would do. To test if they learned from history. She looked at the stars. They failed. The human ships changed form. Black armor split open. Old weapons turned into new ones. Ships unfolded into shapes never seen before. Machines fused with light and sound. Then a single signal rang across the galaxy. You wanted war. You remembered us as monsters. So now, you will remember what we were capable of. The warlords' fleets were erased in seconds. No explosion, no screams, just gone, like they were never there. Across the galaxy, fear returned. Planets went silent. The council held emergency talks, but no one knew what to say. Back in the memory vault, Dren stared at Rhea. You didn't want this? No, she said. But not all humans agree with me. What do you mean? She turned away. There are others who want revenge. In a faraway region of space, a massive ship, larger than any moon dash, awoke. It was not part of the main human fleet. It was older, darker. Inside sat the architect of being made of light, shadow, and rage. He watched the galaxy. He whispered to himself, they will never change. We gave them time. Now we take control. He reached out his hand, and every star nearby began to dim. The stars were dying. One by one, solar systems near the edge of the galaxy went dark. Not destroyed dash, just ... shut off. The light vanished. The heat stopped. Planets froze. It wasn't war. It was a message. Inside the Ark ship, Adernum, a command. Center built before Earth fell. The architect stood still, half human, half machine. His eyes glowed like dying suns. He watched the galaxy spin, silent, afraid. Then he spoke. We gave you time. Time to grow. Time to change. Time to become. More than what you were? He stepped forward. You chose fear. Chose lies. You chose to repeat your past. He raised a hand. More stars dimmed. Back on Earth, General Rhea stood with Dren atop the sky tower. Overlooking the old cities, alarms echoed across the planet. They're reacting to the architect, Rhea said. Dren looked worried. He's going too far. This isn't justice. It's extinction. Rhea nodded. He believes mercy has failed. He's wrong, Dren said quietly. Rhea stared at him, then stopped him. In the galactic core, the council was falling apart. Some members wanted to surrender, some wanted to run, others prepared final strikes. But one young voice stood out, Ambassador Kira, the daughter of a planet that once fought against Earth. She stood before the council and shouted, we betrayed them. They didn't forget. But we still have a choice. If one human listens, we can end this. Her words spread fast across systems. Some listened. Some laughed. But one signal reached its target. Inside his ship, the architect saw the message. He paused and smiled coldly. They still believe words can fix this, he whispered. But deep in his mind, a voice echoed, a memory from a time before war. Forgive is harder than to destroy. But it is the only way forward, was the voice of Earth's last leader, his old friend. The architect closed his eyes. For a moment, the stars stopped dimming on a council transport ship. Dren had left Earth. He flew alone, with one goal: to reach the architect. He had no army, no plan, just a human memory cube. In a voice, General Rhea had given him access to a message only one human could hear as he approached the Adder-Noom. Human defense systems locked onto him. Alarms rang, weapons charged. Then a soft command overrode everything. "Let him in," Dren. Landed. The doors opened. Inside, it was quiet, beautiful, full of silver trees and flowing light. The architect waited on a high platform. "You came to beg," he said. "No," Dren said. "I came to show you this." He activated the memory cube, eh? Recording played. A human voice, female, soft, broken with age. "This is President Allah, final leader of Earth. If you are hearing this, you are the last of us. Do not become what they feared. Do not return as monsters. We were strong because we loved, not because we destroyed. If they fail, forgive them, because they are what we used to be." The architect stood still. The cube fell. Silent. His fingers curled. His breath slowed. He walked to the window. Stars blinked in the distance. For the first time in hundreds of thousands of years, he hesitated. Back on Earth, Rhea waited for the signal. Then it came. The stars stopped dying. All. Across the galaxy, the human ships powered down their weapons. No message, no speech, just silence. But this time, it was peace. In the Galactic Council, the screen lit up with a single message: "You are forgiven, but we are not finished." The council sat in silence. Dren left the Adder-Noom alone. He didn't know if he had changed the architect, but he knew one thing: the future now belongs to everyone. They choose it. The galaxy was quiet. For the first time in a million years, no one was fighting. Human ships had left the skies of alien worlds. The stars had stopped dying, and the architect, once humanity's most feared weapon, had gone silent. But no one knew what would come next. On Earth, General Rhea stood on a balcony above the reborn city of Nova Solis. The sky was clear. Drones rebuilt the old towers. Aliens now walked the streets beside humans. Dren stood beside her. "You did it," she said. Dren shook his head. "No, he did. The architect chose peace." Rhea looked into the sky. "He still watches." In deep space, the architect sat inside the core chamber of the Ark ship, Eternum. Alone, he had once planned to reshape the galaxy through fear. Now, he watched in silence as former enemies shared ideas, opened trade, and exchanged stories. He pressed a finger on a glowing orb. A voice spoke. President Ayla's final message. Playback complete? He stared for a long moment, then shut the orb off at the edge of the galaxy. Something else stirred. A black rift, a crack in space that hadn't moved for 1 billion years. Now, it pulsed. Something was coming. On a distant listening station, alien scientists picked up the signal. Their eyes went wide. This isn't human. It's older, colder. They tried to contact the council, but it was too late. The architect was already moving. He opened a direct signal to every system. "We thought we had time. We were wrong." One that existed before humans, before the council, before even light. They called it the Dark Sleep. And it was hungry. General Rhea stood with Dren as the warning echoed through. "Earth," she spoke calmly. "This is why we came back. Not to fight the council. No, to prepare you. To stand beside you." She looked him in the eyes. "This time, we fight together, or we die alone." All across the galaxy, things began to change. Former enemies joined hands. Humans opened their ancient databanks to all species. The Galactic Council was replaced by a new alliance, the Unity Corps. It had no rulers, only voices, one from every race, in the old halls of the council. Now empty, a child played with a human toy left behind. He pressed a button. Soft voice spoke. Once we were forgotten. Now we return not as gods, but as friends. Let the stars remember who we became. The architect stood before the rift. Behind him floated the united fleets of 100 worlds, human and alien. He didn't speak, he didn't command, he simply opened his hand and all ships moved forward. Together, far below, on a small hill on Earth, Dren buried the memory cube. Beside it, he placed a new plaque. Here lies the past, and above it rises the future. He looked up at the stars. They were glowing again this time, not from war, but from hope. The end.